it is important to dream with a positive attitude, which is nothing but you are open to suggestions and even criticism, feedback, a can-do approach rather than being a damn squib and giving reasons all the time for not being able to do something, being part of a solution rather than highlighting problems and negative aspects of any particular issue being discussed, consistently ensuring that you're in a stretch zone to find solutions which are not seemingly obvious. Skills can be learned, skills can be taught, but positive attitude is something which we have to develop for ourselves. And organizations love people with a positive attitude. One thing in this is that we must not be afraid of making mistakes. If anything is certain in life, it is that all of us will make mistakes. If we are not making any mistakes, be it in an organization, be it anywhere, only one of two things. Either we are doing nothing or we are God. Now, we all know that we are not God. So, we are not doing anything, and that is why we are not making any mistakes. Organizations are willing to accept mistakes. They expect you to make mistakes. But what they actually want you to do is to learn from these mistakes. What they want you to do is to learn from other people's mistakes so that the same mistakes are not repeated again and again. This learning from mistakes is nothing but what we call developing a process-oriented or process orientation so that at least the same mistake is not made again and again. I would like to share some experiences of my company, Chemplast. We are India's second largest producer of PVC, and we are in the process of commissioning a project in Egypt, which once fully commissioned will make us in the top 10 in the world in PVC production. We are also one of India's largest producers of caustic and chloromethanes, which is chlorinated solvents. I'm giving this as an introduction to what a group of youngsters, not much older than you, have achieved in our plants. We have, in our Meto complex, which is our home complex, incidentally, we are India's oldest producer of caustic. The first drop of caustic which came in India came out of our plants, and that was something like 73 years back. In another 2 years, it will be 75 years since the first drop of caustic came. So that gives you the vintage of one of our plants in Meto. Obviously, a lot of new technology has gone into it, but then you have a spread of technologies out there. It's also our mother plant for PVC. We subsequently built other plants in other parts of the country. So in Metor, and I'll share some examples of Metor. Not a few years back, last year actually, Central Pollution Control Board asked Doordarshan to do a documentary on us to be broadcast on Doordarshan on water management in our group. Because as a group, we have taken water as a key element of what we will manage. And this started off not by any deep logical way, but started off very simply by a diktat from our chairman that you will not let any water out, treated or otherwise, out of the system, which meant that every chemical plant of ours had to be a zero liquid discharge plant. And in all the new plants we were building on the coast, you will not draw any groundwater. So basically all our coastal plants have water done on a desalination plant basis. So this diktat really became our mantra, and there was no flexibility on this. So why water? Water is very critical, and going forward, it is going to get more and more critical. Of all the water on earth, only 2.5% is fresh water, and most of this is really in the Antarctic and Arctic. What is really available elsewhere is very, very small quantity of water. And India has a particularly severe problem, having 17% of the global population and only 4% of the global fresh water. So water is going to become an issue going forward, definitely in India. And there are some people who even predict, and this is written by strategy experts, it's written by others, that the next world war will be on water, because it is going to become a serious issue. And we have actually seen it out here. We are perennial Kaveri problem between Karnataka and us. We already are seeing some limited exchanges of these problems. So what have we done in our group on water? We have tried saving water. We have tried reducing our consumption of water, and this is a chemical plant, and chemical plants require huge quantities of water. So one way of not using water, one way of reducing consumption of water is not using it if you find an alternative. So we have a 48.5 megawatt power plant in Meto. We are self-sufficient in power. We generate our own power. And you all know that in a power plant, you need to cool the water circulation, or you need to extract the heat. And typically, you do this in cooling towers, which require huge amounts of water. We went in for air-cooled condensers. It cost us about 10 crores more in capital cost to start with. But we have more than recovered our initial capital cost, because our efficiencies were significantly better in terms of power generation. And we saved 30 lakh liters of water on a daily basis. Every day, there is 30 lakh liters of water which is being saved because we are having the air-cooled condensers. The second thing was that we invested in a zero liquid discharge. We engaged one of the top companies to work with us on developing this. It cost us something like 28 crores to invest. After we commissioned this in March 2008, we, for a period of something like 18 months, 17 to 18 months, were not able to achieve 100% liquid discharge. It would work for 25 days, and suddenly it would not work for a few days because of various issues. Now, when we found that we were having the issues and we were gaining experience, we actually built a task force of our brightest engineers. And these guys were drawn from different disciplines. Age did not matter. It was only the enthusiasm, and hierarchy did not matter. The team leader was one of the younger guys, not one of the older guys, as typically in a hierarchical setup. We had guys far older than him, far more senior to him than in the organization, coming on shifts, because that way these guys were able to observe problems as they occurred so that they could think of a solution and work as a team. And in something like 18 months, we figured out progressively we figured out what needed to be done. So there was a lot of work done on source segregation, there was a lot of work done on pre-treatment, there was a lot of work done on doing pre-treatment and then reuse, not even bringing it to the zero liquid discharge, but taking it directly for some purpose. So instead of, we were earlier processing something like 1,800 meter cube, that is 18 lakh liters of water in our zero liquid discharge system. By doing all this, we brought this down to 10 lakh liters. So obviously we were saving energy on treatment of all this. But the learning from this and the achievement for this was obviously something great. But the achievement was that the solution came from our own engineers. Youngsters who were not water experts, youngsters who just stretched themselves, who didn't bother about hierarchy, who didn't bother about I'm senior, I'm junior, who didn't bother which discipline they came from, but worked as a team to crack a common problem of ensuring that the plant became a genuine zero liquid discharge facility. From September 2009, I mean, it's over 1,000 days now, not one drop of water has come out of Mettur. Now, that is actually a national showpiece today. Central Pollution Control Board and Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board actually send people, when they talk zero liquid discharge, they actually send people to our plant. Please go and study what Chemplast has done in Mettur. And this is the matter of pride for the youngsters out there who achieved it. It is a matter of pride for them that Doordarshan came and shot a half-an-hour documentary and showed on television the greenery in the plant, the birds in the plant, the flora, the fauna, the insects. I mean, and it's well known that if there was pollution of any kind, be it aqueous, be it gaseous, there would not be greenery, there would not be birds, there would not be insects. So it is a matter of pride for these engineers on what has been achieved. Also, all the work in water has now paying off because this year, for instance, we all know that the monsoons have been a failure. We are one of the few chemical plants in the south which is working 100% capacity in all locations. Manali, next door to us in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, today other than CPCL, which is the refinery, every other plant is operating between 25 and 50% capacity, basically because there's no water. CPCL has treatment facility for taking not only seawater but also the Chennai sewage and converting it into water, and hence they meet their entire requirements. So the point I'm trying to make is that what can be achieved by us is limited by what we think we can push ourselves to, working individually or working in a team. You are studying in one of the finest institutions in the country. I would urge each one of you to use this time to study, but more on that later. But build friendships which you can proudly talk about, meet people 40 years down the line and still say he's a good friend. Friends you will remember for the rest of your life. Passing out of IIT has a lot of advantages. But these advantages are not perennial. It gives you a first mover advantage where you will be recognized for having passed out from this institution for a few years.